There is a shift that occurs after spiritual awakening which many people find both surprising and difficult to explain to others. It is this: you begin to genuinely like being alone. Not tolerate it, not endure it, not use it as a temporary retreat from the demands of social life, but actually prefer it, enjoy it, seek it out. And this is confusing to those around you who knew you before, who remember when you seemed to need company, when you filled your calendar with engagements, when being alone felt like something to be avoided. They wonder what has happened to you. They worry that you are withdrawing, becoming isolated, losing interest in life. But nothing could be further from the truth. What has actually happened is that your relationship to aloneness has fundamentally changed. And understanding this change, understanding why you now like being alone, reveals something important about the nature of awakening itself and what it means to live from this awakened consciousness. Before awakening, being alone was often uncomfortable because you were not really alone. You were alone with your mind, and your mind was not a pleasant companion. It was filled with anxiety about the past and worry about the future. It criticized you constantly, told you that you were not good enough, replayed your mistakes, rehearsed your fears. When you were alone, there was no distraction from this internal noise, no escape from the constant commentary, no relief from the judgment. And so you sought out company, activity, entertainment, anything, to avoid being alone with this tormentor that lived inside your own head. But awakening changes this entirely. In awakening, you begin to recognize that you are not your mind. You are not your thoughts. You are the awareness in which thoughts appear. And this recognition creates a fundamental shift in your experience of being alone. Because when you are alone now, you are not trapped with an enemy. You are not being tortured by your own thinking. You are simply present, simply aware, simply here. And this presence, this awareness, this simple being, it is not uncomfortable. It is not something to be avoided. In fact, it is quite peaceful, quite pleasant, quite satisfying in itself. Let me describe this more carefully. When you sit alone after awakening, what is your actual experience? You are aware of being. You are aware of breathing. You are aware of sensations in the body. You are aware of sounds, of light, of the simple fact of existence. Thoughts still arise, certainly, but they are no longer believed automatically. They are recognized as thoughts, as mental events passing through consciousness, rather than as truth, as reality, as who you are. And without the constant identification with thinking, without the constant belief in the stories the mind tells, being alone becomes something entirely different. It becomes a space of genuine rest, of genuine peace, of genuine presence. You are not doing anything, not becoming anything, not trying to be anything. You are simply being. And this beingness, this simple existence without the overlay of constant mental activity, without the demand to perform or maintain or defend or justify, this is deeply satisfying. This is why you like being alone after awakening, because aloneness has revealed itself to be not empty but full, not boring but rich, not something to endure but something to enjoy. You have discovered that you do not need external stimulation to feel alive. Do not need constant company to feel connected. Do not need endless activity to feel that life has meaning. All of this is already present in the simple fact of being aware, of being conscious, of being here. Now, there is another dimension to this that is important to understand. When you are with other people, particularly people who have not awakened, there is a constant pull to engage with the surface level of existence, to participate in the social dance, to maintain the persona, to play the role. And after awakening, you become acutely aware of how much energy this takes, how exhausting it is to constantly be someone, to constantly maintain an image, to constantly monitor how you are appearing to others. This does not mean that you no longer enjoy genuine connection with others. Deep, authentic relationship where both people can be present without pretense, where real meeting can occur. This remains valuable, remains meaningful, remains something you may seek. But the superficial socializing, the small talk, the maintenance of appearances, the performance of social roles. All of this becomes transparently exhausting. You see through it. You see that it is a game, a dance, a mutual agreement to remain on the surface. And you no longer have the energy or the interest to participate in it with the same enthusiasm you once had. So being alone becomes not just peaceful in itself, but also a relief from the exhaustion of social performance. When you are alone, you do not have to be anyone. You do not have to maintain anything. You do not have to perform. You can simply rest in what you are, without the constant effort of constructing and defending a self-image. And this rest, this relief from the burden of selfing, is deeply refreshing. There is also the matter of silence. Before awakening, silence was often something to be filled. When you were alone, you would occupy yourself with reading, with work, with some activity or entertainment. Silence felt empty, felt boring, felt like a void that needed to be filled. But after awakening, silence is no longer empty. Silence is full. Silence is where you can hear the subtle movements of consciousness, where you can feel the aliveness that pervades all existence, where you can rest in the simple fact of being without any overlay of mental noise. And so when you are alone, you often find yourself simply sitting, simply being, not necessarily meditating in any formal sense, but just present, just here, just aware. And this is not boring. This is not empty. This is quite rich, quite full, quite alive. The silence speaks. The stillness moves. The emptiness is full. And you discover that you like this, that you actively enjoy this, that given the choice between this and constant social engagement or constant activity, you often choose this. Now, let me address a concern that often arises. People worry. Am I becoming antisocial? Am I withdrawing from life? Am I using spirituality as an excuse to avoid engagement with the world? And these are legitimate questions